Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the world of SA Lube F4 Cup right here at RaceFace.Pro. My name is Stephen Koenig. Glad to have you guys here and welcome to Okayama in Japan. Arigato. We are now in Japan. We are at Okayama, a fantastic circuit that is both challenging for all the new drivers, but at the same time, you can master it. You can work your way through it, and our drivers will be in a monstrous fight going forward in this race. So we will be keeping a close eye on it. Let's take a look at our points going into the race though, starting off with our championship of our pros. Yuri Swart leading out the grid with Jan in second place, Chip Mildenace in third place, Julian Familiares, Werner Swart, Luke Lecchesi, along with Sean Webber, Willem Buerta, do apologize, Bego Krobler, Doug Herbert, Jeff Hancox, Herman Lazarus, Ryan van der Eerden, Timothy Stanton, Paul Ferber, and Jason Coetzee rounding out our field there. Moving on to our Pro-Am, we have got Roland Ferreira leading the top of the charts, Willem Pino, Alfani Gravenstein, Lewis Nokia, Joe Pinder, Arno Kraus, Vezel Vermaerts in 7th position, Velmos below, rounding out in 8th place. We do have a bit of an interesting story going into this race, and something that I think all drivers are going to be really, really looking forward to, because we have our championship not only with prize money on the line, but you guys at home do stand a chance. In the description below, SA Lube is running a monstrous contest where you can win 300 Rand a week just by watching our streams, and that goes for both the Thursdays and also the Tuesdays. You can go and win some money, which is always quite handy, and you get put into the lucky draw of 2,000 Rand by the end of it. So something you really want to be a part of, you want to enjoy and get racing once again. So as our drivers will be making it out on for qualifying, we'll see our drivers looking to push themselves to the limit. And what will they do this evening? Well, we're going to find out. As they make their way around the circuit for the first time in qualifying. This does run the same time as the iRacing system, so everything being put in now, you can go and race. It is all fixed setup, and you get to have a lot of fun as well. So make sure that you get to enjoy the racing for what it is. You don't have to worry about it too much. We got two classes racing this evening. We do have our pros and our pro-ams that are racing, that will be fighting it out. Looking forward to seeing what each can do, and our drivers looking to try and step up the pace as they fight their way around the circuit. Some returning drivers to have a bit of fun, like in the case of Noah Hendricks. Some new drivers like the likes of Peter van der Spey, who's going to duke it out with drivers that he's never actually battled with around the circuit. So looking to see how he's going to handle it out with our Pro-Am division. Ryan Ottens will be racing, and of course Pro for the Alpha 1, and Troy Dolanchik also returning as well. We haven't seen him for a little bit of time. So our grids will come up and show who is in where, but at the moment all drivers starting their main event. So that being said, we also do have our camera systems in place to go and see our drivers. Tim, our cameraman, going and making sure they can be seen. And we seem to have only one driver that's actually taken the challenge on that one. And that would be the likes of Cameron de Bastos, who is racing our Pro-Am division. So Cameron de Bastos will be showing himself. There he is, joining in for the very first time and getting his sunshine for the Panda City Racing, now in the F16 colours. So missed out the first race, but is back for the second one. So as our drivers now find their feet at the moment, we do have a couple of others like Jaco Kobler and Daniel Persson. We have just joined the fray of things. Once keep an eye out for him, Lazarus, for cheapercars.co.za, looking to make his way around the circuit and hoping to get for a bit of a climb. Looking forward to seeing what he can do this evening as well. So quite a few drivers looking to stand on the top of the podium for their respective classes. Troy Dolanchik putting in the fastest lap time, followed by Luke Lekesi, Jason Coetzee, Alexander Muskin, who's a new driver to it. Willem Buerta and Herman Lazarus so far crossing the line of our pros, making sure that they can get going. Jaco Kobler waiting for everyone to go. He is in the old McLaren, the colours. He's a bit parked out there. You've got the likes of Peter van der Spey, the captain, coming through and lining it up next to the F16. He will look to try and get a lap in, but Varney Gravenstein, first of our Pro-Ams that have put in a lap time, he's currently sitting in 10th position out there and will be fighting out. Taking a look over to our grandstands though, we go and talk about what's in our grandstands, because we've got quite a few of you guys, and it's always enjoyable to see everyone looking to have a bit of fun and supporting the drivers out there. Looking forward to seeing who you guys are going to be keeping an eye out for, because Yuri Umpiswa putting in the fastest lap time of a 1:28, hoping that that is going to be enough to keep him at the top of the pile. So we'll have to see how that works out going through. and we're going to just show as they go. So we got Royal Tsabaja going and moving away from his Twitch gaming along with Natasha Lovelock. They're both Twitch streamers. They're going and watching racing. They don't usually get to do it. Now starting to enjoy it. Welcome, guys. Glad to have you guys here. And a little bit different to the usual first-person shooters. Then we have got returning like Lewis Nokia, driver, a legend, the man, the myth, is out there in the comments saying, have a good race, guys. Looking forward to being there. Elisa Frobler also being part of it. Sean Kirby-Smith, welcome. Glad to have you here as well. For anyone that doesn't know Sean, he is part of the driving force that is making the SA Lube F4 Cup Season 3 make it happen. Good to have you. Jabalani as well saying, how's it? Tuli Masmai saying, how's it as well? Good to see you there. I'm glad to see so much support coming in. Roland Ferreira as well. And Malloy also going and putting in SA Lube, delivering the passion. Sim racing is the future. Thank you very much. Good to have you here. And you know what? Sim racing is not just the future. It is part of the future, because if you want to go and have the best in your car, you definitely need to take a look at SA Lube. Is one of the biggest, if not the biggest distributor, and also has a track record of 20 years a distributor for Castrol. So honestly, if you want to go and trust anyone, trust them in giving you only the best that your cars deserve. And like we've got a lot of race drivers out there in the world of sim racing, guys, take a look to SA Lube. Alright, so top of the charts though, who is definitely keeping it slick at the moment, is Yuri Swart. He's out in front. Troy Dolanchik in second place. Troy Dolanchik hoping to go and battle it out for the crown. He's so far won it twice. Can he win it for a third time? Well, we're only going to find out in the end of this. This is round 2, remember. We do have 2 heats in this race. We've got a heat 1 and a heat 2. Each consist of 20 minutes. And come heat 2, well, we're going to throw it all out of the way. And we're going to take the top 5 and invert them. So if you come in first in heat 1, you'll be put into 5th place come heat 2. So keep an eye on that. Luke Lucchesi out in 4th place. Then you got Jan Fourie is in 5th place. Jason Kutsi out there in 7th is Alexander Melskin. Noah Hendricks, followed by Ryan Ottens in 9th position. Sean Webb is in 10th. We also see Pierre coming into the fray. Pierre is good, one of our drivers from overseas. Good to have him. He's joined in a little bit later than planned, but good to have him back out and having a bit of fun. So let's give him a class so we can see him out on the track as well. As our drivers muscle their way around the circuit, we'll be trying to figure out what's going to work for them, how they're going to be able to crawl through the order in our Pro-Am and Pro. Oh, we got a bit of a spin for Webb. And there we're sporting the South African colours. Oh, unfortunately is Willem Buerta and Nico Killerman saying how's it to the side of him as well. Not quite as slick as we would like. Jamie Rees out there on the circuit for the Alpha 1. This is his debut season in the world of iRacing. And I actually had a chat to Jamie Rees saying what brought him through here wasn't only just getting it with the latest MSA license, where they got a year's subscription for free with a 200 rand purchase. Also, there is a little bit of a price there. 200 rand, you get a year's worth of iRacing, plus you get the F4, which is equivalent of 2,200 rand. He's also wanted to try out a different hand of things. He wanted to fight it out. Jeff Hancock's out there. Mr. Sended Hancock's looking to have a bit of fun as well. Doe Herber will be trying to chase him down in sporting the McLaren colours. And Herman Lazarus is currently in 17th position. 18th, Barney Gravenstein with Peter van der Spey, the captain, out on the circuit. Good to see him out there. He's looking to take the charge to Cameron de Bastos. And it does look like my SDK suddenly giving a little bit of an issue there. Don't worry, he'll catch up soon. Cameron de Bastos in 20th position. Jaco Krobler in 21st at the moment. Vano Kursup and Pierre still in the pits, needing to get sorted out. Currently at the top of the charts is a bit of a dueling battle between Yuri Piswad and Troy Dolanchik as they fight it out. Troy Dolanchik trying to make as much of an impact as possible. Jason Kutsi also up on his previous lap time, trying to close down the difference. Then you've got Alexander, a new name to the grid. Good to see him out there, looking to take the fight to the front. So he's really up into 3rd place for the pros for a debut run. I've got to say, very, very proper in terms of seeing it, and also quite experienced. Taking a look at his I rating of 3,400, getting beaten up by Jan Ferry. Jan Ferry putting himself into third place, our TCR champion, now trying his hand in the world of single-seaters and looking to fight it out. A couple of comments coming in. Good to see a grid full. Yes, well, when you start talking about the prizes out there, not only for our drivers, where there's a 12,000 Rand prize pool sponsored by SA Lube, properly delivering the passion, and that's one way to grease the palms for certain. Excuse all the jokes coming out there. I can see me immediately getting fired for making dad jokes like that, but I do have 2 kids, so I can do a dad joke or 2. We'll see. But ultimately, 12,000 Rand prize pool for our drivers. Not only that, the honours by the end of 2024, while they're carrying through the season in the F4, they do go for the MSA RaceFace, or the MSA SA Lube F4 Cup championship for 2024, which is a monster crown. It would be the debut crown for the F4s in total here in South Africa. So it is a monstrous thing for everyone to keep going for, and we're glad to see that SA Lube jumping on board with it as well. But also you guys out there can win prizes as well, because you know what we do here in the world of SA Lube and at RaceFace is we like to give back to you guys, to the fans, the supporters, the cheering out there, the true passion here, the true petrol heads going and supporting, keeping motor racing alive in its different formats. Luc de Keyser out in 7th place, Noah Hendricks in 8th, trying to battle his way through. Don't want to drop a wheel on the dirt there. Ryan Otten's coming to the fight as well. In round 1, he didn't have the best of times, but he's looking to improve it here at Okayama. Drops a wheel on the dirt though. That is going to take his time out, but he has been putting a lot of effort into it. Nico Killerman, who is out ahead of our Pro-Ams, is actually racing in our pros, so let's get that one sorted, because he is kind of showing in the wrong class at the moment, so we want to just try and fix that up. I do apologize for that, with all the amounts of stuff that goes into the world and multiple classes. We want to ensure we get the right information out to you guys, lovely fans that are making sure that we can keep going. Dirk Huber parked out on circuit. He is waiting to get going. So Doe hoping to get a little bit more pace underneath him and try and close out the distance. Urian Puiswart still top of the charts at this moment, trying to focus his rein in, and won't be backing out of the fight just as yet. So keep an eye out on the driver who's looking to go for a win right here tonight. So we'll see how that battles out. Artie Nachel also moving his way up through the order. Our drivers looking to step up the games, trying to figure out what's going to work for them. Time starting to run out though. Anything is possible, and once we get into the grid, the drivers will have to fight it out for the top honours, and the last thing you want to do is get caught up in a mess and lose out time, especially when you're fighting for class positions. The main thing you want to do is focus on who you're fighting and where you want to end up. Putting yourself in the wrong spot may end up in a world of hurt for the driver, so you don't want to do that just as yet. Drivers still carving their way through, not much time left to get those laps in. Willem Buerta trying to use the toe at this point to pull himself along, and hoping that it will be enough to put him to the top of the charts, and just hanging in as long as he can at this point, hoping that it will be enough to throw him up through the order. Then we've got Sean Webb out there in the Rothmans colours. I nearly said the Rothmans Porsche, because that's just such a distinctive colour scheme that I associate, and I think many associate, is the Rothman Porsche colours that really show off a grand old time. So good to see a couple of drivers taking in some inspiration from the past, because we cannot forget about what has happened in the past and the amazing feats that everyone has gone through. Our drivers hoping just to get those last little laps in at this point as they look to fight their way through the order. Moment, everyone trying to dig in, but 15 minutes done, dusted, and the order will be that. So, moving on to our grid, Yuri Swart starting out in first place. Then we have got Troy Dolenchik in second place, Jan Ferree in third, Alexander Milskin, Luke Lekesi, Jason Coetzee, Timothy Stanton, Ryan Otson, Sean Webb, along with Noah Hendricks, Artie Narkel, Nico Killerman. Moving further down, Willem Buerta, Jamie Rees, Doug Herber, Jeff Hancock, Herman Lazarus, Cameron de Bastos, Peter van der Spey, Farney Gravenstein, Jakob Krobler, Pure Cousin, and Venant Kursop, rounding out our field for the race. So, moving now into the race, and let's start showing where all the classes are sitting, because it's a bit of a change-up in through it all. The eyes are going to be on Yuri Swart and Troy Dolenchik, but Timothy Stanton has moved himself into a very, very impressive position and looking to fight it out. He's currently in 7th position, which puts him squarely into the pros of Ryan Ottens and Sean Webb that surround him. Noah Hendricks as well. Artie Narkel is also in that mix for our pros. It's starting a little bit behind. So Doug Herber, who is in the Pro-Am class, is a little bit further down the fight. So let's see how that's going to work out for all our drivers as they look to put the power down. Jamie Rees in the pros, hoping to claw it through. Remember, the pros have a monster prize pool on the line, and it's all about the charge. We're waiting for the lights to go on. Jim will power it up. Ooh, the nerves starting to kick in. Noah Hendricks still yet to take to the circuit, hoping that it is going to be a good race for him. Lights on. Revs coming up. 4, 5, and away we go. We are racing. Yuri Swart off to a little bit of a rough start. That allows Troy Dolenchik to get into the fray of things. Jan Ferree, a phenomenal start on his part, but caught up behind as the two make their way through. A little bit of sideways action going for the likes of Yuri Swart. That's going to allow Troy Dolenchik to break away. Jan Ferree in second place. Now putting a huge amount of pressure onto the back. Will start focusing on his charge as they claw their way through. Luke Lekesi immediately onto the charge. He's got Alexander diving up on the inside. Jason Coetzee, his fellow teammate, looking to get involved in that fight as well. Timothy Stanton up through the order, getting past the likes of Ryan Ottens as they go side by side. He's pulling Noah Hendricks along, but out in front, Yuri Swart trying to catch up to Troy Dolenchik. Ferree right there in the mix, but Luke Lekesi battling it out with Alexander up on his inside. He's going to put a huge amount of pressure as they come by. Luke looks to try and hold the inside line. Jason Coetzee now goes up on the inside of Alexander. Can't get past just as yet. They're going to go side by side. Very close contact between the two. Alexander's able to bring it back. Ryan Ottens with a major divert there to try and get past. He makes a clean pass. Timothy Stanton immediately onto the back of him. Noah Hendricks, though, keeping a monstrous pace right behind him. Will try and ensure that it's all going to get past Alexander. Once again, that drive getting killed. He has now got Webb trying to close up on him. It does look like slight damage, and that would be Alexander out of the race, unfortunately, and Will trying to get himself sorted out. A bit of damage suspension ain't going to help there. Nico Killerman now in a bit of a fight as well, but take a look at Willem Buerta up on the inside. He's got Jamie Rees going and looking with him as they look to try go on the inside of Killerman. Beautiful run there as they carve their way through. Jamie Rees on the back of the gearbox of the two of them, hoping that he can get the drive as Willem Buerta carries the momentum through. Nico, unfortunately, not having the same amount of pace, does drop down 2 positions and losing out the drive. So our drivers hoping to get a little bit more pace between them. Troy Dolenchik, though, out in front, hoping to stretch the gap a little bit away from Yuri Swart. That's now 0.3 behind and pressurizing him at this point right up the back of the gearbox, hoping that he can get a bit of a charge. Other little battles starting to come into play is third in class. Jeff Hancock's trying to make his way through. It does look like Herman Lazarus gets a little bit of a tailspin. Cameron de Bastos trying to keep into the fray of things. Peter van der Spey, though, onto the dirt. That's going to allow Farney Graverstein to look up on the inside. Farney does try and get a little bit of a push past as he looks to go up on the inside. Late on the brakes. Will it make it work, though? Just sneaking by. And Peter van der Spey having to come off the throttle at this point. That does allow Pierre to get onto the back of him as well. Back out to the front of the charge, and we have got Troy Dolanchik and Yuri Swart. So now I'm going to put a challenge out to you guys, because SA Lube has already put the challenge out of the drivers having a bit of a prize pool, but also you guys, the spectators out there, showing off your passion. I'm going to put it out there. Who do you think is going to get first, second, and third for Heat 1 in both the Pro and the Pro-Am class? Taking a look at the fights going on there. Bit of a challenging one there for everyone, and a bit of working out. Now remember, this is a 20-minute race that the drivers are in, so there isn't much time to go and lose out. And taking a look at a little bit of a battle going on. Timothy Stanton, who is racing our Pro-Am class, fighting out with Noah Hendricks. Going to go up on the inside. Noah going to go around the outside. Noah is in a different class to Timothy Stanton. So Stanton getting the charge, launches his way up. Now has Sean Webb right behind him. Sean's going to keep a huge amount of pressure onto the back of him, hoping that it will be enough at this point to keep the pace. So our drivers hoping that it will be a monstrous charge as they power their way through. Gaps starting to close down between all the drivers. Two drivers that haven't come to blows too often on the circuit is Jason Kutsu and Ryan Ottens, both racing in the Pro class, both looking to make an impact right here for the SA Lube F4 Cup. And Jason Kutsu, multiple time champion in single-seater racing, now battling it out with the champion for the RaceFace GT3 series, Ryan Ottens, who looks to try and chase him down. Ryan Otten's got a lot on the line here, chasing down the RDSA driver, but it's on for the Alpha Esports, who late brakes, locks up, loses out the position, and it's all about positioning that gets it right. Nose to tail out at the front once again, and that is still leading out the charge between the likes of Troy Dolanchik and Yuri Swart. They are keeping a constant pressure on one of them, hoping to just try and pull away from the field, but Jan Faris starting to close in as the two are fighting it out between each other. Cameron de Bastos is fighting out for third of our Pro-Am class, and in his debut season right here in iRacing, he's doing a fantastic job of that. Ryan Otten's also putting in a tremendous effort to go and floor his way around. Luke Lucchesi, though, unfortunately landing up in pit lane. So Luke Lucchesi having a bit of a problem. Let's actually see if we can go back about what happened at that end. Ooh, that's parked into the wall. So he lost out well before then, where he lost off the circuit. Let's see if we can go back a little bit further. And did he come to mixed wheels? Oh, he mixed wheels with his teammate. And that was how she wrote it out. So unfortunately, locking wheels with his teammate was all she wrote for Luke Lucchesi. Not what you want to do, and that dropped him out of the fight. And into the pits, and now down to 23rd position overall, 13th in class. So he is really down the order in that fight. And mixing wheels with the teammate of Jason Kutsi, who's also sporting that little bit of damage on the nose of his car. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Bit of a fight going on. Jamie Rees, Willem Buerta fighting out for 9th and 8th position. Willem Buerta will have the outside line. He's going to try and swoop in underneath Jamie Rees on the exit, going into the next corner. He will have the advantage. Jamie Rees will lose out a little bit of drive, maybe come for a sweep back. Nope, not as yet. Couldn't get it sorted out, but now Nico Kilman firmly set behind that rear wing, right up the gearbox as they put enough pressure on one another. Then you've got Artie Nachel and Doug Herber. They are fighting out. Oh no! Oh no! There it goes. The likes of Willem Buerta going and spinning out. And we have got multiple contacts at the back. That is a bit of a problem. This is Jeff Hancock's along with Cameron de Bastos, they were keeping a close eye on the action. They got into a fight with one another. Unfortunately, contact between Jeff Hancock's and Cameron both going into each other, and oh, that's not how you want to be getting yourself back onto the circuit. So, not ideal conditions for both of them, and both needing a bit of work done to their vehicles, dropping them down their respective orders. So, let's see how our drivers are going to be able to make their way through it all. Webber, unfortunately, also looks like he's come to blows. Let's take a look what happened to Webber. This is a little bit of lonesome, I think. Maybe just the rear stepping out, under braking. They do get very light and twitchy. Yeah, there it is. Unfortunately, the rear stepping out underneath him. Back out in front, though, Troy Dolenchik and Yuri Swartz going and fighting out between one another, hoping that will gain a bit of time. Both looking to try go for that top spot, fighting it out for class honors. No breakaway from the order just as yet. Young 3 also looking to close down. Jason could see getting into a fight with Ryan Ottens, who is looking to go up around the outside, tries to get underneath him, couldn't get on the inside. Both touching the dirt, slipping around ever so slightly. Now focusing back into the charge. Noah Hendricks and Timothy Stanton keeping a close toe behind them, utilizing the slipstream. Ryan Ottens is going to try go to the outside, forcing Jason around the inside. Jason will try come out a little bit of contact between the two. Noah Hendricks unfortunately gets spiked there, and that is the rough one when you're bumping wheels. That comes to it, and Noah Hendricks unfortunately collateral damage in that contact for the SA Lube F4 Cup round 2, heat 1. And remember, we do have 2 heats in this race. We have a heat 1 and heat 2, both 20 minutes. So if you didn't make it right in heat 1, you have a chance in come heat 2. Troy Dolenchik trying to keep Yuri Umpi-Swart right behind him. And Yuri still putting in a huge amount of effort at this point to get back into the fight, with Troy Dolenchik constantly looking for a kink in the armor, figuring out where can he go at this point to try and fight his way through. Young Free currently in 3rd place in class, in a little bit of no man's land. He's just watching our leaders fight it out. Timothy Stanton leading out our Pro-Am field, and has got a sufficient enough gap over Doe Herbo, who's actually in our Pro-Am, not in our Pro, for this class. And I do see that Timothy Stanton tried dealing with Ryan Ottens. Ryan Ottens backing out. He has got a bit of damage on his car from the earlier contact. So that does free up a bit of a run, but allows Jamie Reese, the young gun, to go and throw his hat into the ring over team leader Ryan Ottens. Troy Dolenchik, Yuri Umpi-Swart still in a monstrous fight. Both of them going and giving it everything they can at this point. Yuri trying to get underneath the inside and just couldn't get the drive underneath Troy Dolenchik. They are running nose to tail between one another. Nico Killerman going after Jamie Reese is also another one of our closest battles currently on circuit. But this is for pole position. This is not only for class win, but for overall win. Both wanting to walk away with that honor, and it is going to be a fight right the way through between them. So Troy Dolenchik just having enough of a pace to keep ahead of Yuri Umpi-Swart at this point, but Yuri starting to find the kinks in the armor, starting to wear down the tires as they're only on lap 8 out of 20. There's a 20-minute race, but we do have a lap count as well that comes into play for longer times. So these two will be looking to try and pressurize each other to hurt the tires. A little bit further down, Nico Killerman and Jamie Reese, this is 6th and 7th, that are fighting out 5th and 6th in class, as Nico Killerman fighting it with Jamie Reese, who looks to keep it nice and tidy at this point. Currently fighting it out in the top 5. Going for the top 5 overall, but currently top 5 in his class in the debut running, so you don't want to lose out any bit of pace there as they fight their way through the order. Back up to the front in our close battle. Troy Dolanchik and Yuri Piswat still nose to tail, long straight. You want to keep in the slipstream. You can see the defensive maneuvering going in with Troy Dolanchik walking out to the fringes of the circuit. They're going to go side by side. Going to try and cause Yuri to go and figure out what does he need to do to keep it all together. Yuri running out a little bit wide. Going to go late on the brakes to make it stick. Couldn't get it sorted out. Troy Dolanchik, though, onto the dirt. Does lose a little bit of drive. And now it is all about keeping on the throttle between the two of them as they fight it out for the top of the run. Each of them trying out their best luck between them. And who will be able to walk away with this fight for the top honors. And this is heat 1 out of 2, so it isn't be all or end all. As long as you can keep within one another. Remember, the grids will be reversed. Our top 5 will be reversed. And that does put Timothy Stanton, who is currently running 5th place overall, into the top spot. So he will be starting from pole if he can maintain his distance at the moment. So our drivers out front, still our closest on the circuit between one another. They're starting to get a little bit closer to one of our back markers, so that's going to change things up a little bit. Jaco Krobler, unfortunately, also landing up in a bit of a problem. Troy Dolanchik running out a little bit wide. Now we'll have to deal with Yuri Piswat, who doesn't get the same drive to him. Trying to close down the distance at this point, not going to work out to them. Up on the inside, couldn't get it sorted out, losing out the drive there. So, another little battle starting to form. That is a 3-car train. Actually, is the likes of Artie Narkel, Doug Herber, and Willem Buerta, who's trying to make a comeback. Willem trying to go up on the inside of Doug Herber. Does so with not too much of a problem there. Oh, no, never mind saying that. Gets it completely out of shape. And both of them land up having a bit of contact. So, Doug Herber will have some damage to his car. And we'll have to figure out what's going to work out for him. Not what you wanted to deal with at this point, and the drivers will have to try and figure out what's going to work for them, as this is not going to be a good thing if you pull into the pits. Jamie Reese still fighting out with Nico Killerman, who is now on the back of him, hoping to try and figure out a way past at this point. And Sean Kirby going in saying a bit of a shout out to the Castrol team, watching the amazing action out here for the SA Lube F4. And I've got to say, what amazing action it is. And this is one way to keep it slick, and that's why we only use the finest of lubricants and oils that you can get. And that's going to be at SA Lube, delivering with passion, especially joining up for the debut run right here with RaceFace for the F4 Cup, and taking the naming rights to it. And also to you guys out there in the chat, watching it either live or watching it in the future, make sure that you go down to the link in the description. There is a prize for you guys as well, as we do have that draw going on for viewers every week. We will have $300 going out, and you will be in the draw for the 2,000 Rand prize pool at the end of the season. So you don't want to miss that type of fight at all. You don't want to be losing out that type of thing. And that even goes to the drivers that are rewatching us. Definitely want to go and pull up as well. And you can enter it throughout the week. We do have racing on a Thursday as well. Noah Hendricks, though, coming off the gas, losing out, giving a bit of room to Troy Dolanchik, who tried using the toe there, and it didn't quite work out to his benefit, as Yuri Piswat immediately closing up the gap between them. So these two are in a monstrous battle between one another. Another little battle forming a little bit further back, 19th and 20th position. Jeff Hancock and Herman Lazarus are in for a fight with one another as they try to make their way around the circuit. Herman Lazarus hoping that he will get the charge up through the order and close down on the fight. So, grid starting to open up between everyone at this point as they fight their way through. Troy Dolanchik of the Sujin team battling out with Yuri Piswat, trying to go around the outside for the Durant Motorsport team. Looks around the inside, looks around the outside, sliding it out. Those tires now starting to break up quite a bit. And if we even jump onto the roll bar of Yuri Piswat, sporting the Mercedes livery at this point, trying to pull out his inner Lewis Hamilton to just try and get past the Mercedes, well, the older Mercedes livery, which is the silver of Troy Dolenchik just ahead of him. Both of them trying to figure out what is going to be the kink of the armor. How can they get past? Time starting to run out though. Desperation will start to set in for all our drivers as they fight their way through the order to gain valuable points to fight it out for the championship for our season 3. And there's so much that goes into these championships. Not only do we have a 2024 MSA championship to contend with, but we do have each season the bragging rights to walk away from. And the 12,000 Rand prize pool that comes in for a season is honestly monumental for our drivers. So much to play for and so much to work it out. As Troy Dolenchik fringes on the inside, that's going to force Yuri Swart to be on the outside, heading into the right-hander. And you can see, oh, they are just pressurizing each other on the tires, making sure to walk each other to the fringes at this point. Both know each other all too well and how they're going to carve their way through this fight. So Yuri Swart up on the rear wing now needs to figure out the next plan of strategy. Tried looking for the inside, tried looking for the outside. That didn't work. Trying to put pressure over time. That's not working as well. So how is he going to move his way through? A bit of our international contingent. That's Alexander carving his way through the field, getting past Sean Webb at the moment. So Sean Webb now needing to focus on his charge against our international driver. And good to have our Racing Lab Esports out in the order as well, and good to see it in good international contingent starting to filter through into the championship as well. Troy Dolenchik and Yuri Swart still nose to tail with one another. Our speed cam showing us all the action. Big thank you to Tim going and setting up the GoPro there. It only got driven over 3 times. So Tim, our cameraman, and Jim, who mans our lights, our flags, and everyone out there, and our virtual marshals making sure that all our drivers know what's going on. Nose to tail between first and second, Troy Dolenchik and Yuri Swart as they carve their way through. Troy Dolenchik going once again to the defensive on the inside, wings out wide, trying to bait Yuri into a move at this point to try and make a misstep and lose out that little bit of drive. But it's not happening between the two of them as they fight their way through the order. Still a monumental charge for both drivers, but it does look like Yuri's lost the drive and will now have to sit his way back as Troy Dolenchik starts coming towards the line. He will be smiling ear to ear on this one and through the final corner, and I think he's done enough to get away from Yuri Swart. The checkered flag comes out. Troy Dolenchik taking the win, with Yuri Swart in second place, Johan Ferree in third for class. Bit of fight going on at the back though. Jamie Reese pulling away from Nico Killerman and Artie Darkle. They are still fighting out between one another. This is our second closest battle on the circuit. And Artie Darkle trying to go up on the inside of Nico Killerman. Couldn't get it all sorted out. Nico just getting across the line. Artie tried his best, but just by 0.084, the checkered flag comes out for them. Jason Kutsia taking 4th place in our pro class. First of our proams goes to Timothy Stanton. Second place goes to Doe Herber. And 3rd place goes to Peter van der Spey as he comes across the line to take for our proams. Funny Grave scene in 4th place. 5th place is Pierre, followed by Vaynon Kursup, Jaco Krobler, sitting in 7th. 8th, Jeff Hancock's Herman Lazarus, and Luke in currently, that's Luke Vakezzi. That's currently in 12th position in class, 21st overall. Cameron Bastos out on the circuit as well. And they're a bit of on board. You can see going and taking the sweat off for the race as well. And that he's just experienced. Noah Hendricks rounding out our field here for Heat 1 of our SA Lube F4 Cup. And we will be moving into our next heat in a moment. We're going to go and cut to a short break, and we'll see you guys shortly. Oh boy, if that doesn't make you want to jump in and go racing, I don't know what will, because with a prize pool on the line, a sponsor with such a pedigree of 20 years of service and ensuring that not only they give you the best prices, but also give you the best products possible. And big thank you to SA Lube joining in, and welcome to the world of sim racing world, because I believe this is your first time stepping into the world of sim, and I'm glad to have you guys here all ready to have a bit of fun, keeping our ass nice and slick right here at Okayama for round 2 of our SA Lube F4 Cup Season 3. And it is 25 degrees out on the circuit with a little bit of wind coming in a northeast direction, so you will see the cars starting to battle out. That's why the slipstream does work like an absolute charm right here at Okayama, and something you don't want to lose out on. Let's take a look at our results from our last race. For anyone that's just joined us, welcome. But let's take a look. For our Heat 1 results, Troy Dolanchik taking up the monumental charge in first place, Yuri Swart in second place, Jan Free in third, Jason Coetzee taking fourth place, Jamie Rees in fifth, sixth going to Nico Killerman, Artie Nachel, Willem Buerta, Alexander Milskin, along with Ryan Ottens, Sean Webb, along with Luca Casey and Noah Hendricks rounding out a field for our pro. Moving on to our Pro-Am though, we got Timothy Stanton, Doug Herber, Peter van der Spey, Farney Gravenstein, Pierre Cousin, along with Venon Kursup, Jaco Krobler, Jeff Hancox, Herman Lazarus, and Cameron de Bastos taking the back of our field for our Pro-Am. But overall, our drivers putting in a monumental effort with over 23 cars coming into the race for Heat 1. Heat 2 is set to be a world of fire, and we can't wait to see it. Now, they're currently out on their warm-up to get their eyes back in, and a lot of drivers to refocus, recenter, and get part of the fight once again. A couple of drivers will be looking to make a bit of an impact there. We do have our onboard cams, which we love having, and we'll see more and more drivers doing it. We had Doug Herber last time showing off his camera. This time we have got Cameron de Bastos, who is showing out on our cameras. So Tim, there we go, thank you very much, going and showing off what he can do as well, and also having a chat to his fellow teammates, so you can see frantically working, constant communication coming through. And that's what a lot of our drivers will be having, chatting not only to their teammates out on circuit, if they do have one, but they do have also some pit managers that come and talk to them. But you guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you can also keep an eye out on with all the live timing down in the description below. Click on the pit link live timing, and that will bring you to our live timing setup, so you can follow the race as it happens. And that is also just grand to have. A big thank you to SA Lube for powering it up and ensuring that our grandstands can be part of all the action, not only watching it live, watching it in the past, or watching it in the future to everyone out there, but also we do have our live timing, so you guys right here live can see who is sitting where. But that being said, we do have major things. Prize pool of 12,000 Rand, as you saw in the break, which was absolutely phenomenal to have. But also you guys, the viewers, have an opportunity to score big with SA Lube. And when I say big, I mean absolutely enormous. We know that going and putting a couple of brands in the pockets does help, especially in these times where you got to get a little bit of fuel for the generators, or if you want to go and get yourself out and racing, being part of this fantastic series, which is still open out on SimGrid. You'll click the link below, and also join us on our Discord right here at RaceFace.Pro. But you guys can have the monumental fight to be part of the race for the 300 Rand weekly giveaway, just by being a part of it. And all you have to do is watch the stream, so go and hit the link below. You don't want to miss out. End of the season, 2,000 Rand goes to a lucky viewer. And well, I can tell you, I want to do that. And I think SA Lube, can I do that? To all the SA Lube guys out in the grandstands, am I allowed to do that? But main thing of all, let's take a look at our grid, because at the moment we have got Timothy Stanton starting out with Jason Coetzee, Jan Free, Yuri Swart, Troy Dolanchik, along with Jamie Rees, Nico Killerman, Artie Nachel, Doug Herber, Willem Buerta, Alexander Milskin, Ryan Ottens, and moving further down, Sean Webb, Peter van der Spey, Fanny Gravenstein, Pierre Cousin, Vena Kursup, Jakob Krobler, Jeff Hancox, Herman Lazarus, Luke Lucchesi, Cameron de Bastos, and Noah Hendricks rounding out our field as we get ready to go racing once again. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to hear you guys out in the chat because we're going racing. Go mad. Put your favorite driver. Go and support it out. I want to see all the names kicking up of who do you think is going to score the top spot, because it is green. It's going. We're racing. And it does look like a bit of a slow start for Artie Nachel at the back. Now Timothy Stanton leading out the field. Jason Coetzee immediately up on the inside. Jan Free down into third place. Yuri Piswat coming into the fight as Troy Dolenchik going and trying to get side by side. He moves past the likes of Yuri Swart. Jamie Reese looks to also go past him as well. So Jamie Reese got a fantastic start as they go side by side. But it does look like Yuri is going to go up on the inside, try and sink it in. Does so beautifully at this point. Nico Killerman going and also getting a phenomenal start. Ryan Ottens along with Willem Buerta. Artie Nachel pulling his way back through the field is doing everything he can. But keep an eye on the likes of Yuri Piswat Durand as he's going side by side with Jamie Reese. He's confident under the braking zone here. Timothy Stanton though locking up the brakes and losing out the drive to Jason Coetzee, who's now going to fight it out for the top spot. Side by side they go into the left-hander. Is it going to be a monumental run for them as they battle it out? Troy Dolenchik now into the fray of things. Look to try put it 3 wide. Backed out of it. He's going to rather keep onto the back of Jason Coetzee. He's going to let Timothy Stanton go out wide. He knows he needs to get the jump now or never at this point. Timothy, who's leading out our Pro-Am, so gets into contact. Troy Dolenchik into the dirt. And I do think Timothy Stanton will sustain a bit of damage there. Jan Ferree going and fighting out with Yuri Swart. But Troy Dolenchik going and having the contact did throw his way into the dirt. And unfortunately, that will cost him time. Yuri Swart now seeing that can capitalize at this point. Figuring out what's going to work for the SA Lube F4 Cup Season 3 Heat 2. He's now gotten one of his big rivals out the way. Championship contender now into the weeds. He will have to focus his efforts on Jan Ferree, but Timothy Stanton, who's just ahead of them, will be going and taking some damage as Jan Ferree opens up a door, trying everything he can to get as best of an exit as possible. But now he's got Yuri Swart trying to pressurize him to the fringes of the circuit. Ryan Otten's trying to catch up to his teammate just ahead of him, of Jamie Reese, who is watching these two currently fight it out. Does allow Ferree to run out wide. Jamie Reese tries to capitalize on it. Too close to one another. Timothy Stanton, though, locks up. He's off the circuit, trying to rejoin. Jason Coetzee now up into the top of the order. Yuri Swart in second place. Jan Ferree into third. Jamie Reese into fourth. Ryan Otten's immediately behind him. Willem Buerta trying to push as hard as he can. Nico Killerman, they're there in the mix. Now Artie Nachel and Sean Weber onto back one another. Alexander into the top 10. First place of our Pro-Am zone, Timothy Stanton, after recovering, is now close to Noah Hendricks, but Doe Herber not too far behind, will be trying to put a little bit of pressure onto him. Peter van der Spey as well into the mix. Luke Lucchesi into the pits. So Luke Lucchesi now trying to get himself sorted. The captain, Peter van der Spey. And we're not even joking, he is a qualified captain. He flies airplanes. So hopefully going to keep all wings on the ground this time around for the F4s. You don't want to get any space fights here. Is fighting out with Farney right behind him. And oh, there's a spinner in the background. And that looks like it might have been Jakob Krobler who spun out at the back of the field. Bit of a full-car train going on here, ladies and gentlemen, and that is Yuri Swart, Jan Ferree, and Jamie Reese, along with Ryan Ottens getting into the fray of things. So second place up for grabs between 4 cars at this point. Jan Ferree tried to look on the inside, backed out of it. Jamie Reese going and communicating with his teammates, saying, listen, don't get into the mix here. Let's try and use our heads and think what we're going to do, because these two need to fight it out and we need to keep in the toe. So the guys will be trying to figure out what's going to work for them. But what a run for the start of the race, and definitely not what we expected for the start of Heat 2. And it's going to turn things around. The two teammates, though, Jamie Reese and Ryan Ottens, onto the back of one another. And it looks like Ryan Ottens starting to show his front wing a little bit more, trying to pressurize Jamie Reese into moving out the way. Two of them will go side by side. And now we see the two Alpha 1 Esports going at each other left, right, and central, but it does look like Ryan Ottens gets drive. And Jamie Rees tries to go for a little bit of a cutback on him, couldn't get it all sorted out. So a bit of a twisting situation going on there for our drivers, and they're right onto the back of Johan Free now. So Free will be watching his rearview mirrors very carefully to see who is behind him and watching that relative they have on the side as they fight their way through. In sector time, so Free and Ottens, with Ottens slightly quicker than him through sector 1. Can he make an effort to come sector 2? And Nico Killerman also trying to get a bit of a move past, so we've got a fight just a little bit further back. Ryan Ottens, Jamie Rees, and Willem Buerta getting ahead of Nico Killerman, who's got Artie Knuckle, who runs out wide. Artie going and losing out a bit of a drive. And now Alexander getting side by side with the lines of Sean Webber. These two have not seen each other out on the circuit prior to this championship, so good to see him out there. And then Timothy Stanton just keeping Noah Hendricks at bay. And Timothy fighting out for that pro class. Mike Gravenstein, though, is feeling the pressure from Cameron de Bastos, who will be putting a monstrous effort at this point. You can see watching all his screens and trying to figure out what's going to work for him. And just taking a look, yellow flags being waved for Peter van der Spey. So what happened to Peter van der Spey? Tim, the cameraman, trying to give us a bit of a view there. And what happened? Did he get a little too early on the throttle? Yeah, that's unfortunately what it is. Oh, and then rearward contact. And that unfortunately does damage the car a bit. He does have to wait. But it looks like that rear suspension is absolutely poked at this point. Artie Knuckle is part of that collision and will needing some repairs. Out in front though, top of the run, top of the order, Jason could see of RDSA Esports going and fighting out. RDSA is a team that not only goes and races out in the sim racing world, but they also do a lot of teaching. So you can learn how to be a lot quicker with RDSA. So shout out to RDSA. Still need to do a course with you guys because I need to pick up every second. The moment my times are going and calculated on a calendar, not a stopwatch. So I'm currently in, if you take a look at the calendar, I'm still in December 2023 while you guys are working in minutes. So please, need some help out. Durant Motorsport, Yuri Swart trying to also put a huge amount of pressure onto the back of him. And Yuri Swart coming in with a background from Polo Cup Racing and also with the Super Polos. He raced in with Cara Hill in the SAES last year, and they did really, really well. Not only last year, but the year before that. So close to the championships every single time. But he has also gone and put in a monstrous effort in iRacing once before. Both of them know each other all too well. Jason could see having a lot more experience in single-seater racing coming from the world of Formula Fords and also the Formula VWs back in the day as well. Is now trying to get into the mix. So from Cape Town all the way into the fight, the two go side by side right here at Okayama, Japan for round 2 of the SA Lube F4 Cup Season 3, carving their way through the circuit and also carving each other up in the process. Take a look how close they actually put the wheels to one another, right in between the axles of one another. No fear between the two, and will be trying to force their way around. Yuri Swart though, big dive on the inside, and you can hear down the gears, just trying to ram it down the gears to try and let the engine slow themselves down as they fight it out for the top pack. No one backing out of the fight in the top pack. And Noah Hendricks also trying to catch up to Sean Webber as a little bit further back. But we're keeping a very close eye on this action because Yuri Swart needs to get into the top run to be able to walk away with valuable points for the championship. Jason Goodsey is also fighting in that very championship, so he needs to try and keep as much pressure onto him as possible. Don't want to lose out the drive just as yet. And with the standings on the line, with a prize on the line, it is all or nothing at this point because leading out the championship is Troy Dolanchik, who is currently running in 20th position. There is the leader of our Pro Championship in a little bit no man's land. Second in the championship is currently in second place. Johan Ferrari, though, is in third place and third in the championship. So he's sticking in with the fight. He wants to keep the pressure on. So Johan Ferrari, at this moment, just needs to hang where he is, if not get a little bit higher to be able to get into the fight. His eyes will be on Jamie Rees, who got overtaken by Ryan Ottens, who we see just in the background there. That number 64 car is Ryan Ottens. Jamie Rees, who's fourth in the championship, is needing to get ahead of Ryan Ottens if he wishes to sustain it, because he's 2 points away from it. But Jason Coetzee, on the other hand, is a lot further down the order. He's currently in 12th position in the championship, so walking away with maximum points for Heat 2 of the SA Lube F4 Cup is absolutely mandatory at this point if he wants to try and move his way through the fight. Around they go, up they go, fight each other out, and who knows where they will end. Another battle moving on is in our Pro-Am class. Fani Gravenstein and Herman Lazarus are going at one another. Herman of cheapercars.co.za locks it up on the inside. Beautiful next to the cannon car of Fani, who goes out wide, tries to come back on the inside. Both of them side by side as they go. Everyone knows what's on the line for them as they battle their way out through the order. Back up to the front though, Jason Coetzee and Yurian Swart still fighting it out. Timothy Stanton is leading our Pro-Ams and is leading the charge for our Pro-Ams. Herman Lazarus, though, who's third in the Pro-Ams, needs to move up the order. He's currently second in the championship, with Peter van der Spey as the running in third in the championship. Fani Gravenstein as well, who's running in fourth, is fourth in the championship. So they can't hang around at this point. They need to get a little bit of pace to them. And with a 4-race championship running bi-weekly fixed setups, it's all down to pure skill to move their way up through the order. Our front pack starting to get into a fight here. And Ferrari, oh no, that's contact behind. That is Alexander and Willem Buerter. They have come to blows with one another in the background. That is not how you want to go for it. Let's see if we can try get a view of that quickly. And this is Alexander Milskin. Oh, just not expecting Willem Buerter to lock it up and get into the apex. And unfortunately, both sustaining a fair amount of damage to their vehicles, trying to bring back. Alexander opting to tow it back though. Side by side between Yuri and Piswan and Jason Coetzee as they fight it out. It is all about keeping it slick here. And both of them are going to be pushing it as hard as they can into the late braking. Jason Coetzee going to keep in the inside line. Swart looking up or trying to get underneath him. Couldn't get it all sorted out just as yet. Will need to try and figure out how he can get past. He needs to maximize points for his championship. And at the moment, Jason Coetzee will be going and affecting that. So it is a monstrous charge on their part, but running out of time on both sides. Remember, this is a 20-minute race. And so far, they've done 13 minutes of racing between them. Young Free managing to break the gap to Ryan Ottens as he is chasing him down in fourth place. And then you've got Jamie Rees in fifth, Nico Killerman in second, Noah Hendricks and Sean Webber is lying in fifth place. First in our Pro-Am class is Timothy Stanton, who's right onto the back of Sean Webber and Noah Hendricks. And Cameron de Bastos up into second place for our Pro-Am, and will be feeling a bit of pressure. And let's see if he's going and getting a little bit of sweat. There we go, starting to feel the pressure coming into play as he goes and gives it a quick wipe of the forehead. We will see more drivers starting to utilize it, and especially start putting their sponsors into it as well, because why not? You know, it's worth doing it. So saying sponsor t-shirts, that's something usually a good idea, especially when you're getting your face shown on camera. Our drivers hoping that they can get the momentum at this point. Yuri Swart trying to get the drive with Jason Coetzee looking up on the inside and swapping around. Now it is the other way around. This is exactly what Yuri needed, but unfortunately couldn't get the drive out of the corner. That did drop a bit of pace and now has allowed Free to get into the mix, because now we're up to a 4-horse race out in the front for first, second, third, and fourth in class and overall. All four of them sitting within a second of one another, and that is going to change the game straight from it all. So our spectators out there on the grandstand, guys, out of the four that are out in front, Jason Coetzee, Yuri Swart, Jan Free, and Ryan Ottens, who do you think is going to be able to get the order? I want to see everyone out there. Sean, I can see you going and putting in the chat. Novelli are going and saying, let's go. Fani, Royx, Badger, the Obelix out there as well, going and putting in. Who do you think is going to be of our top four that are fighting it out for the overall run? All of them trying to figure out what's going to work out for them in this fight. Fonny Gravesy getting into third place in the Pro-Ams. He launches his way through. But now it is Yuri Swart on the monstrous charge, hoping to close down. These four will be battling it out. You can see a little bit of slipstreaming coming into effect. This is into the wind. They're into a headwind, so the cars will get unstable under braking. But still, side by side they go. Yuri Swart locking up on the inside. Jason Coetzee goes around the outside. A little bit of contact between the two of them. It is all out war between our front runners. Jan Free is now close enough to capitalize. He's going to go for a charge while seeing these two fight it out. Side by side they go again. And from Free's view, he is in the pound seat at this point from the roll bar. But take a look. Coetzee loses it out on the throttle and now is out of the pack. Jason Coetzee, unfortunately, wasn't able to keep it. Let's go onto the roll bar. Let's see what happened. Turning on the throttle, on the curb. No contact with Yuri Swart is what dropped him out of it. So unfortunately, that contact has now become very detrimental as he's got Jamie Reese onto him. So the fight is Yuri Swart with a bit of damage, Johan Free and Ryan Ottens into the fight of it. Ryan Ottens, for the first time, will be fighting it out for the podium in class, and first time in iRacing, fighting out for the podium as they look to go and go 3 wide. Not much time left. Free in second place, going out for the wide line, and Swart trying to hold the inside line. Ryan Ottens trying to put his nose in, just couldn't keep it on. Now looks to go side by side, does get pressurized out a little bit too much. Will have to drop back into the toe. This is turning into a monumental fight between the three of them. Jamie Reese has also caught up onto the back of Jason Coetzee, who's trying to close down on the fight as well. So it is a monstrous fight for the top running of the order, and this is going to change the championship up quite a bit. Yuri Swart, though, is going to be keeping a very close eye on the likes of Ryan Ottens and hoping that Ryan loses the drive at this point, because Ryan Ottens is looking to try and fight out for the top order of the championship. And he's running in 5th, but Jan Free, who is a championship contender, is currently right behind him, and they're only separated by 11 points. So Free needs to get back into that second place as he's lost out the drive. I see Jason Coetzee, unfortunately, is coming to blows once again, so he will be dropping down the order even further. Ryan Ottens up in the front, side by side with Swart, and Free up on the inside, looks to try and capitalize on the moment. Gets into the slipstream. Now Ottens out of the slipstream, will start to lose out. 3 wide though. This is tight between the three of them. They are going into the hairpin 3 wide. This is brave on all their parts. Who's going to be brave here? Ryan Ottens 3 wide into the hairpin. Who's going to come out of it alive? All 3 of them managing to get that. Oh no, but contact. Free spins out, holds his brake. Ryan Ottens involved in that contact. They got it right for the first little while, and unfortunately that's dropped it down, but it has brought Jason Coetzee back into contention from it. So Jason Coetzee is into the mix here. Jamie Reese also starting to close down on the gap as we will have one more lap to keep it all together for Swart, who now needs to keep Ryan Ottens at bay, who's suffering a bit of damage that will take the top end off his car, allow Jason Coetzee to get into the fight as they battle it out. Noah Hendricks and Webber behind are also having a monumental fight between the two of them. They're fighting it out for 6th and 7th in class at the moment, and still going and pushing as hard as they can, which is just phenomenal stuff from our drivers. Our top running run, though, where all the stress starting to come into play, is out in the front. But I do want to point out, we do have a fight going on for our Pro-Am as Herman Lazarus gets past Fani Gravenstein. So Fani dropping a little bit, will be trying to get onto the back of Herman Lazarus as quick as they can, because they are fighting out for 3rd place in the Pro-Am class. And Herman Lazarus of the cheapcars.co.za is putting his foot through the floor. That Formula 4 is going to have one owner. It was owned by a granny, and it was only driven to church and back. There's no ways it did racing. But we all know, once you put all the great stuff that you can get at SA Lube, it will keep the cars looking and sounding immaculate for years and years to go. I've still got a Golf that is running from 1994 that I use all the products from SA Lube to keep going, and that car is actually older than me. And it still goes. Don't know how. It's a Golf, and also you put the right stuff in. Yuri Swart, though, does take the checkered flag. Ryan Otten's taking 2nd place. Jason Coetzee will be taking 3rd. Jamie Reese in 4th place. Nico Killerman, Noah Hendricks, Sean Webb, Jan Free, Timothy Stanton. And 2nd place goes to Cameron de Bastos, who I'm sure will be smiling for that one. A little bit of hands up in the air. He's got it. 2nd place in the order on his debut run. Luke Kukezi up into 9th in class. Herman Lazarus going and taking the top spot, fighting it out with Fani Gravenstein as they make their way through. Wow, oh wow, oh wow. What a run that was for our top running order. And if that doesn't keep you on your toes right here for the SA Lube F4 Cup, I don't know what will. But well done to all our drivers. We will be having them coming through. We'll have a couple of drivers to come and have a chat to us in the commentary box as they make their way through. So we'll see if we can get our top runners into the commentary box to be a part of the show. But let's take a look at the results, because there's so much to go through as we take a look at the fight going on. Everyone just making their way around the field for our race. So let's take a look at our results, though. Right here at Okayama for round 2 of our SA Lube F4 Cup Season 3. And honestly, what a monumental run it was. Yuri Swart taking the top spot. Ryan Otten's in 2nd place. Jason Coetzee in 3rd. Jamie Reese in 4th place. Nico Killerman, Noah Hendricks, Sean Webber, along with Jan Free, Luke Lucchesi, Willem Buerta, Troy Donalczyk, Alexander Melskin, and Artie Nachel, rounding out our pros. Moving into our Pro-Am results, though, that does go to Timothy Stanton, Cameron de Bastos in 2nd place, Herman Lazarus in 3rd, Fani Gravenstein in 4th place, Jeff Hancox, Doug Herber, Jakob Krobler, Vanen Kursop, along with Peter van der Spey and Pierre Cousin rounding out our field. What a phenomenal run as we wait for the guys to come through to the commentary box. Let's see who will come and enjoy and have a bit of a chat for all our drivers for the phenomenal racing we had here this evening for the SA Lube. But what a run, the festivities out in full cheer. And honestly, right here at Okayama, the drivers really had to push their way up through the order. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let me know out in the grandstand, did you guys love that? Was that enough drama for you? And wow, does that turn everything on the head? So we will have our drivers going and having a chat, and we'll bring you all of the standings. So keep an eye out on all the social media out there at the SA Lube. They've been going and punting us. A big thank you to the SA Lube. And Vanen Kursop, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's Vanen Kursop out there giving us a little bit of a burnout and showing off what he can do, which is always entertaining. So keeping just our interview room open a little bit longer for the SA Lube F4 Cup Season 3 Round 2 here at Okayama. Just see who will come in and do an interview with us. But it looks like all the drivers recovering, worn out after a blazing bit of fun. And we'll see how the drivers do come, not next week, but the following week. But that being said, catch us on Thursday right here at RaceFace.Pro. Hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon, leave a like as well for the racing action. Drop us a comment. What was your favorite battle out on the circuit? Noah Hendricks jumping into the spectator stands. Good to see that. And yeah, we have got the guys coming through. So let's go and bring Cameron de Bastos in the room to have a chat and talk about his race getting second place here at Okayama. Cameron de Bastos, welcome to the commentary box. Second place for your race, and what a run it was for you. How are you feeling with that?
Hi, Stephen. I'm feeling heavily empowered after that race. That was one hell of a fight. Started from second last, fighting all the way up into second in the class. Was just, it feels amazing.
Well, I mean, it was a run for you through it all. This being your debut season in league racing, full stop for the likes of iRacing. I mean, how does it feel to be duking it out with some of the fastest? Well, you've been there. You were in the MSA Africa Cup fighting out with some of the fastest, if not the fastest, in Africa for the race. Now you're getting to try a different set of the field, and I'm sure not an easy thing to do. So how do you feel with duking out in the Pro-Ams?
It's definitely something else compared to ACC. It's a lot more entertaining. It's not a forgiving sim, and it's definitely difficult, but the rewards at the end of the day just makes it so much better. Being able to ride it all the way from the back is, yeah, at one point I was a bit stressed a lot, but no, the racing was good and fair. Race 1 was not my race, unfortunately, but other than that, it's been one heck of a race.
Oh, honestly, great stuff. And with SA Lube powering the F4s, you can obviously feel how slick and how easy the engines were running, the gearboxes were running, the cars looked amazing out there. But going forward in the championship, round 3 in 2 weeks' time, and we got a clear cup coming up next week. What's the plans on your part to power your way through the order and get into the races for heading into round 3 and to be on the top of the charts, considering we're heading out to Mount Panorama for round 3?
Mountain, Death Mountain, as we'd like to say. No, eager to see how these cars perform on that track. It's always, I've loved the track with the GT3 car, so seeing it in the F4 is definitely going to be something else. But yeah, with SA Lube, making sure that all the cars are running smoothly and just making the gear shift so smooth and just everything perfect, there's nothing that can just stop you from continuing with this race. It's definitely been a blast.
All right. Well, it's good to have you in the commentary room and being a part of the show. Glad to have you here, and we will see you next time for the race. Thank you for joining.
Thanks, Stephen.
All right. Well, with Cameron de Bastos out the way, let's bring in Timothy Stanton. Double win for him. Timothy Stanton, welcome to the commentary box. What a run for you. Double win for you in class. And how are you feeling with that one?
I enjoyed the race. It was a good race. Unfortunately, in the first race, the grid was switched around, and I just don't have the BMT to be with the big guys, and I suppose that's why I'm a Pro-Am still.
Well,
it gets a bit nerve-wracking. I think I had my 15 minutes of fame for 2 laps.
No, I think you did rather well out there. The race being rather strenuous, where you got into the mix with the pros, and you know, in the Roland machine, it's not an easy thing to try and battle out a couple of lockups every so often. What was the overall game plan from your side to stay at the top of the pack?
I think it was just to stay out of trouble. You know, this track you can easily brake too late, and then the wheel locks up. So, you know, in the second heat, you know, that's what happened to me as well. You know, just the pressure from the top guys braked a bit late in the one corner, and that's it. You lose traction, and you pretty much lose 10 places. So I think for this track, it's just consistency, and then just being careful of the top guys. I think that's where I'm very weak, is just overtaking and defending. So something to work on, and something to look up to the pros and see why they are pros.
Well, I mean, you're currently leading the championship on 101 points. Herman Lazarus is second in the championship. Peter van der Spey is currently in third. A double win here does bring home some valuable points to you to try and extend that championship gain. But round 3 at Bathurst, I mean, the track that can make or break a race. One mistake, you're in a wall. I mean, one corner, turn 1 is called hell. What's the thoughts going into Bathurst? I mean, the legendary mountain that you're going to be climbing in 2 weeks' time.
I love the track. I think once you figure out the lines, through the mountain part, it's actually quite easy. The problem you got, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, with a bunch of 20 cars all bunched up. Be lucky if everyone gets to turn 3, and that's going to be the hard part for Bathurst.
Well, with the SA Lube F4 Cup battling it out, is there anything you want to say? A shout out to all our SA Lube fans out there for the F4s, and any advice you can give to anyone that's wanting to come and race and be a part of this amazing series?
I think obviously the first thank yous to yourself and to Doe, every week coming out and making it a great series. I think for anybody wanting to race F4, the most important thing for me that I've learned is just braking. So, once you set up your brake biased or your brake structure, where your brakes are going to be and how hard you want the brakes to be, that makes a big difference in these cars. So you've got to practice with them, get the hang of them. They're very different to a Clio. They're very different to a GT3. But I really enjoy driving them. So I think for anybody who's keen to get in it, just get in the car and just practice and work out where the guys are braking, and just keep it smooth.
Absolutely amazing stuff. Leading out the championship, I'm sure going to be smiling ear to ear on that one. Thank you for joining in the commentary box. Glad to have you here, and look forward to chatting to you in due course with all the racing coming up with our Clios next week and the F4s the week after that.
Yeah, and it's a pity it didn't look like Jeff Hancock was in this race today. I didn't see him anywhere. He gave me a shout out in the beginning. Maybe he pulled over. I don't know what he did.
He was a little bit caught out at the start, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That was not his strongest circuit. I'll send it. Couldn't send it too hard at you this time. Maybe Bathurst, maybe a different story. So keep an eye on the review mirrors there.
Thank you.
Good to have you, Timothy. All right, moving into our next one, we're going to be chatting to the captain himself, Peter van der Spey, to come and have a chat to us before we'll round up with Doe Gerber. Peter van der Spey, welcome to the chat. Good to have you here. The captain, oh captain. What's the old saying that Robin used to say? Oh captain, my captain. Welcome to the commentary box. Not quite the race that you expected, and still stuck it out all the way through. I mean, you're third in the championship. Some points were a little bit lost this evening, but still managing to cross the line. That never give up coming into fray. That's something that you're very well known with. How was it out there with the F4s at Okayama in Japan?
It was quite spectacular. I had 1 hour of practice. I only realized late this afternoon after 5 that there was a race tonight. And I thought, oh, my damn, I better try and get on and get some practice in here. And so that was the one, I guess, my one problem. And but the race was fantastic. The first race was great. Stayed out of trouble. A lot going on around me. Made up a bunch of places. A second race, unfortunately, I did a little spin out on my own, and then a car tapped me from behind and broke my drive shaft, so I had to get back to the pits, and I guess that's where I lost a lot of places. I don't even know where I've come overall because my phone's gone dead, so I'm not quite sure what my standing is in the Pro-Am.
So currently for Heat 1, you managed to finish up in the Pro-Am. Let's take a look on the results. You finished third in the Pro-Ams for Heat 1. Moving into Heat 2, though, you did drop down the order and finished up in 9th position for the Pro-Am. So a little bit of work to be done there, but ultimately a great drive on your part right here at the SA Lube F4 Cup Season 3. Heading into round 3, though, not next week, but the following week, we're going to be challenging Bathurst. How is the nerves
lovely
with
track.
that one?
Oh my word! I mean, it's one of my favorite tracks actually. I love doing that in the GD3, and I don't know what this is going to be like going through there, but I love that track. It's such a challenging track, and I will definitely be back. I'll practice for that one, and I really look forward to that. It's really a spectacular track. Really, absolutely one of my favorite tracks around the world. Yeah, especially in a GD3 car. And yeah, so look forward to that. That's yeah, something to really look forward to. Thanks, Steve. I'll definitely go and have a look at this replay here now on your channel. And for all those people out there, I guess that's going to be a good look. Yeah, I think there were a lot of crashes tonight's race, and a couple of really big guns sort of fell back in the order. I guess that changes the point standing quite a bit.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a properly interesting one, and that's why you got to keep an eye on all the social medias for that outside the SA Lube and outside RaceFace.Pro, because, as you said, that's going to change up the whole forefront of the championships, not only in your class but in the pros, and ultimately that's going to be the monstrous run. But also glad to have you here, the captain, going and racing it out, but also. Just one thing is a bit of shout out. Peter van der Spey is selling his Juno, the championship winning Juno in the SAS. So he's going to be missing that sports car, but at least going and finding a bit of love in the single seaters. We're going to see you having a bit more fun in the single seaters going forward, maybe, possibly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's see what happens. Yeah, my work commitments and circumstances at the moment are just that I can't do this series this year. And I thought, well, let me sell the car to somebody that really wants to give it a go, wants to upgrade. And so it still is available out there. And, especially for the endurance guys. I mean, look, it's a great sports and GD car as well. And it's race ready. It's ready to go. It's been, it was put back to pre-race condition after the endurance series. And it was at that point that, my work and environment situation just changed, so that I just couldn't commit to this series this year. And I thought, well, let's rather give somebody else a chance, So let's see. If some of the cars go bad, in the first race, maybe they want to jump into my car.
Well, it's good to see you in the world of the sim racing and having a bit of fun with the racing, and also in something that's closer to your sports car.
Yeah, absolutely. At least now stay in the seat. Definitely won't be out of this lot, and can't wait for the Master Series to get going. I think that should get going in the next week, and so at least I can keep going. I'll be happy to do a paid drive, in the Endurance Series when I can get a gap to do a race. If somebody maybe wants to run my car, I'll pay to drive with them, become one of the paid drivers.
Fair enough.
I love my car, and it's it's a potential winning car, so hopefully somebody out there will take a chance.
Awesome to hear. Peter, thank you very much for joining us here at the SA Lube F4 Cup, and good to have you out in racing. We're going to go and have one more interview with Doug Herbert before we sign off for the evening. But Peter, thank you very much for being here, and thanks for the chat.
Thank you very much. All the best, and great race. Thanks very much, guys.
Awesome stuff. Peter van der Spey giving us a bit of insight into all the racing. Moving on to our final interview for it all. That goes to Doug Herbert. Doug, exciting news, bomb-dropping news. You and I getting the bomb-dropping news that our spectators have a chance to win some prize money on a weekly basis with a grand prize pool at the end. Not even just for our spectators, but also the drivers that can go and re-watch and click that link down in the description as well. I know you and I are kind of in a race for it as well. Are we going to go 50-50?
I'm certainly going to go click there. I can do with a buck, say.
Oh, well, you and I can go Harvey's and score a bit of a burger. That's the main thing. A race out there, very interesting, great hard racing between it all. You're racing, though, a little bit further down the field than expected. What happened during the race?
So race one was a good race for me. I think I did fairly okay on race one. Ati Nagel and myself were actually in a very good battle there for quite some time. So race 1 actually went quite smooth. I was happy with that performance there, but race 2, I was unfortunate. I think I just ran out of luck, unfortunately, and I think it was Luke that spun the car in the hairpin, back straight hairpin, and I just didn't have anywhere to go. So unfortunately, I think I drove right over his car and managed to get myself a little meatball flag there. So I had to go and do some repairs, unfortunately.
Had to go and eat the meatball, unfortunately. But, I mean, this is an exciting time despite everything. We're in round 2, heading to round 3. The big name sponsor, SA Lube, joining up with it, and also the series recognized by Motorsport South Africa. Prize money on the line, not only for the drivers, but also out there for our spectators. I mean, this is a first in South Africa that there is a prize pool for the spectators. I mean, you and I have been in the game of sim racing for quite some time. I've never come across this. So SA Lube taking that unique opportunity, and we're saying, well, if I add a bit more fun to it, it's getting the crowd involved in the racing that we're having.
Yeah, I think it was a great initiative from their side to come up with that suggestion, and we want to just say a big shout out there to SA Lube. I think we've got a really good partner with them in terms of our F4 series. And I'm pretty sure it's going to expand beyond that in the future, hopefully, as well. So, yeah, I think we've got a really good partnership going there with the team at SA Lube. And, yeah, if any of the viewers that are still on the stream, make sure you obviously go click that link and get yourself into the draw. And please don't forget to do the like and subscribe stuff as well.
Yeah, no, definitely like, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, because we got racing this Thursday in our RaceFace GT3. Next week, we're in the Clios on the Tuesday, and then also back in the GT3s on the Thursday. You don't want to miss it. Plenty of racing going on. Also, take a look at all our social media out there, RaceFace.Pro, SA Lube, and also go and follow us in the Discord. Just have a chat. I mean, why not? If you're not a big fan of getting involved in major racing, well, always join up with a community that's always looking forward to chat to one another, share lots in mind, and hopefully don't end up in the crash like Daytona. Or did we not talk about that? I think it's not to bother talking about that one. That being said, though, thank you very much for joining us this evening right here at SA Lube F4 Cup Season 3, Round 2 at Okayama. Glad to have you guys here, and we'll see you next time as we move over to Bathurst. Oh, I don't know about you, I'm going to beat you this weekend for the Bathurst 12-hour, but maybe, just maybe, if I can get someone to go and jump in the commentary box, I'm gonna race you at Bathurst. How's that going to go?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, sounds like a plan. There we go. We got a challenge, guys.
Excuse me, guys. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, all good. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, like always, like, subscribe, hit that bell notification icon. Don't forget to look in the description. Share all the links with everybody. 300 Rand weekly giveaways, plus into that massive draw of 2,000 Rand prize pool just for watching this show, and also on Thursday. So, the more you watch, the more you can enter, the more you can go for the win and walk away with some prize money. But like always, like I say, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody.